Ladies and gentlemen, hello there. How you doing? And welcome. Most importantly, welcome to another edition of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. I am Mr. Warren Hayes, and this is my program, and this is specifically the edition where we talk about WWE SmackDown. Specifically, even more specifically, if we're drilling down and filtering to its most basic components, we are talking about the February 5th edition of SmackDown Live. And I am thrilled that you are here, that you are first and foremost joining me live here, right here on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. In case you're watching this in the future, woo! Maybe at some point NASA decided to make a time capsule and add in there a couple of my videos for future reference so that the civilizations that will rise out of the imminent extinction of the human race will be able to go back and enjoy my commentary, my wrestling commentary. Perhaps if you're watching it at that stage in human evolution, existence, its presence in the universe, well then, do know that I do these shows live after every Raw and SmackDown. About a half hour later, give me time to prepare, grab a glass of water, splash some water on my face, that kind of stuff. So I do these live, and there are people here live with me tonight. Yeah, and I can't tell you how much I'm happy to see them here. We've got Tim, Blaine that are here, Kristen Ashley, editor-in-chief of DivaDirt.com, diva-dirt.com. That's CM Phil here as well. Bunch of folks joining me live. It's always a pleasure, and so that's something you can do. You can watch this live. If you're watching it later, I appreciate that as well. That's very kind of you. And perhaps you're not even watching. There may be a chance, an off chance, that you're listening to this on your favorite podcast application, because all of my stuff now is available on your favorite podcast applications, such as Apple Podcasts, such as Google Podcasts, such as Podbean, such as Spotify, such as Stitcher, and a bevy more. There's a whole bunch more. And I'm thrilled that you guys, regardless of how you pick up your Warren Hayes experience, I'm just glad you do. And if you are watching here on YouTube or wherever, consider subscribing. People often ask me, Warren, how can I support what you're doing? Can I give you money? And I'm like, no. In this hypothetical situation that never ever happened, where perhaps someone would say, can I give you money to support what you do? And I say no. I say support. The best way to support what I do is just, to subscribe to whatever, follow, whatever. That always helps. And if you're watching live right now, even if you're not watching live, consider giving a thumbs up. Consider sharing the video or the podcast. If you consider those are primo ways to support your local independent podcaster. Guys and gals, we've got a lot of a nice episode of SmackDown to talk about first. But first and foremost, tomorrow is Wednesday. Today is Tuesday. We're taping this on Tuesday, so tomorrow is Wednesday. Don't forget to head on over to FightfulSelect.com, the premium service for Fightful.com news website, quality news website. It's not about the clicks and the views, boys and girls. It's about the quality of the news. Never forget that. Sean does an excellent job. The entire team there that works the site. I just sit around and talk into a microphone, and yet Sean still likes to have me around. Maybe I do. Maybe I'm doing something right. And I'll be on FightfulSelect.com tomorrow to do my 205 Live NXT UK recap show. So that's always a good time. I always enjoy it. So consider subscribing, because there's a bunch of stuff there. There's tons of wrestling-related content. You know, when you're a wrestling fan, you like to watch wrestling. You like to hear people talk about wrestling. You like to think about wrestling. That's what we do at Fightful Select. So you have my podcast. You have Sean, who has another podcast. He has like a podcast for every day of the week. And he does the Fightful Report there. There's Steven Jensen. Cool guy. Great voice. And he covers, he does the Fightful Weekly. The Weekender. Sorry, not the Fightful Weekly. The Weekender. I'm making stuff up as I go along, to be perfectly honest. He does the Fightful Weekly where he covers non-WWE programming. That's every week. We do retro pay-per-view reviews as well. Sean and I just recently released whatchamacallit? Valentine's Day Massacre. Woo. So go check that out. That was a lot of fun. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow on Fightful Select. I think that on Thursday evening, I will be doing a live stream after the AEW event over on Fightful.com. I'll be doing a wrap up basically of the event, of the announcements and so on and so forth, and of Kenny Omega showing up. We'll finally get that out of the way. So I'll be covering that for Sean, who is going. Sean will be on assignment. So I'll be doing that. And also this weekend, Kristen Ashley, who's in the chat and who also contributes at Fightful, she will be recording her newest edition of the Division podcast, her podcast exclusively dedicated to women's wrestling and women's wrestling news. She's decided to have me again for some peculiar reason. She's decided to have me there on her show once again, and this time as a panelist. And we will also be joined by Anthony Suter of Smart to Death. So that'll be fun. And that's going to be released this weekend as well. Next week, right, is Elimination Chamber. Got a pay-per-view coming up, so that means I'm going to get to do a prediction show next Thursday. God, I love doing prediction shows, and I love doing prediction shows because I usually have a guest, and I'm going to have the pleasure of having Kelsey of the Super Kicking It with Kelsey podcast over from Wrestling Inc. She's going to be joining me next week. That's going to be a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to that. I hope you guys pop in next Thursday. It's going to be good. So yeah. So there we go. And speaking of stuff that's good, you know what's good? Good is wrestling, right? This is a terrible segue. Wrestling is good though, and it's good when you have choice, when you can watch all the wrestling you want without being hampered from all sorts of different locales and oddball places. And that's something that PowerSlam.tv offers you. 4,000 hours of independent pro wrestling content available at your tippy fingertips, right there. It's all, you got 4,000 hours of dozens and dozens of indie promotions from across the world, not just North America. You got stuff from Asia and Europe, South America, all sorts of fantastic stuff. And I cannot emphasize more the presence of great indie promotions like Smash Wrestling in Canada, Bar Wrestling, that are having a legitimate buzz these days. There's some great stuff here. Their most recent stuff is up. You know, recently there was they had an intergender match where they had Pentagon Jr. versus Tessa Blanchard. I don't know if it was a tag team match or if they were just one-on-one, but it's not up yet, but it will be up soon. And Defy out of Seattle. Look, there's so much great stuff, and you can take a look at it. You can jump right in. If you sign up today, you just dive right in. And if you use the promo code Warren Hayes, that will give you 30 days of PowerSlam.tv for free. So go PowerSlam.tv, sign up, use the promo code Warren Hayes. That's 30 days for you to enjoy, to just indulge. And more than enjoying, indulge it. Enjoy it. You know, because sometimes you have to treat yourself. Sometimes, you know, maybe you're at home, you're like, you're at home and there's nothing to do, or you're like, man, today has just been a bummer. And then you have, you know, Lisa who's next to you, and, you know, like she's, you know, she all she does is drool, and she's drooling on your stuff, and you're like, wait a second, Lisa, are you drinking my Diet Coke? And Lisa just stares blankly at you because, you know, she's a moron. And you're like, I have to get out of this. How do I get out of this situation? Well, Powerslam.tv. Go watch 4,000 hours of wrestling. Never mind, Lisa. All right. So there we go. Got those things out of the way. Now we're going to get into it. We're going to get into the bold predictions. Oh, wait a minute. There's more people popping up in the chat here. We got Daniel, who's come in. J King, how you doing? Export comes in and says, sup? Sup to you, Export. So thank you all for being here, but now we're going to do bold predictions. Bold predictions. I head on to Twitter. I tell people, hit me with your craziest, nuttiest, wackiest bold predictions for tonight's Raw or SmackDown. And in this case, today I asked them for the predictions for SmackDown. So yeah, we're gonna jump right in here. We're gonna take a look at some of what Twitter had to predict very boldly for tonight's SmackDown. So here we go. First and foremost, Chris Osborne. I'm gonna move over here. There we go. Chris Osborne says, based on everything announced, SmackDown goes with no commercials. It was a stacked show, wasn't it? They had announced a lot of stuff. This is the thing, right? Between 2 hours of SmackDown and 3 hours of Raw. It's like, man, they just put so much stuff into SmackDown. You're like, how are they going to fit everything in? And yet they manage without any overruns. Jason, I see you in the chat. How you doing? That was a good bold prediction. Thank you, Sir Osborne. Next, we have Caleb. Now, listen. This is not me, okay? You can see right here, for those of you who are watching on YouTube right now, you see here, right here, that he stole my face. All right, this is not this is not me. This is not a Warren Hayes burner account. I don't need burner accounts. I'm an influencer. I don't need a robot army of Twitter bots or phony alt accounts to get my point across. Caleb just decided to take my face. Anyway, it's just a joke. I'm okay with this because I'm a megalomaniac. So Daniel and Joe, Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe, end up breaking into a nature reserve where Willow returns only for Mustafa to hit an 054 off a tree. Then he gets hit with a phenomenal forearm off another tree. Then Jeff swantons them all off another tree. Caleb asks if this doesn't make the cut I'm writing. Well, good job, Caleb. You made the cut. Oh, and Caleb's in the chat. I'm glad you were here to see this, Caleb. I'm so happy. Everything is happy. Everyone is happy. And everything, too. Why not? Next, we have Patrick Offends. I think that's how you have to say it because there's an exclamation mark at the end. You know, it's not, you can't just bring your inflection down to like Patrick Offends. No, it's Patrick Offends. Samoa Joe comes out with a gun and kills everyone to hold the title. Ooh, someone's feisty. Someone wants Samoa Joe to win a title here. Police come, chaos ensues. WWE never recovers. WWE signs with AEW. I think Patrick may feel that WWE's not listening to him. I think he's got he's a little feisty. All right, thank you for this bold prediction, Patrick Offends. NWO Wolfpack for Life, also known as Rebel of Death. is here and says Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella are in the ring. Daniel says her makeup is made from animal fat. Says her clothes are not eco-friendly. Says he wants a divorce. Leaves. Brie tries to run after him, but trips and falls through the ropes. Oh my God. Cut to Sanity eating tacos and catering. The most likely scenario. Yeah, there's part of this bold prediction that isn't all that bold. Thank you for that, Red Rebel. Finally, we have Kristen Ashley. Man, I'm putting her over tonight, aren't I? Saying hello, talking about her podcast. Hopefully she won't do a run-in tonight and leave me do my show in peace. Well, anyway, she says the Bella Twins arrive to claim the last spot in the Women's Tag Team Elimination Chamber match. Daniel notices the title is made of real leather and forbids Brie from competing for it. Brie won't be told what to do. It's Bella Twins versus Team Commune for the main event. Team Commune being, of course, as we established last week, Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. Oh, good job. Thank you that's a very bold prediction, Kristen. Thank you very much. And those were our bold predictions. God damn, they're bold. All right. Are we going to talk about SmackDown now? Let's see here. Now we have Foul Original Wrestling who popped in here. Hello, sir. Nice to see you. Anything interesting being told in the chat here? Let's see. Bits of conversation. I don't know. Export says Samoa Joe can kill with a mic only. Yep, he can definitely. Or with Girl Scout cookies, says Kristen. Yes, that's right. Very good. All right, let's get to it. Let's start talking about Le SmackDown. We have Charlotte Flair, who is in the ring, who comes to the ring. And I got to tell you, this new look that Charlotte Flair has, wearing darker clothes, darker colors in her clothing, her makeup, it works so well for her. Now, I got to tell you guys, how you doing, Brian Payne? I got to tell you guys, I really, really liked Charlotte's promo tonight. And do you know why? Because Charlotte Flair is acting like a Flair. And this is it's all in her natural strengths. It was fantastic. She comes into the ring and she says the only thing more dangerous than yeah, thank you. Hey, welcome to the Warren Hayes Show. Let's start over. My name is The only thing more dangerous than ignorance is arrogance. And Becky's arrogance got the best of her, is what she says. She refused medical attention and she beat up Stephanie McMahon. And Charlotte stands in the ring and beams the biggest smile of all. And she says, I just hope that she's healthy for WrestleMania because I know someone who is 100% healthy. And she starts cackling. She cackles, not just laughing or giggling. She's literally cackling. Oh, she's slowly morphing into this magnificent combination of heel Flairdom and Disney villain. It was fantastic. She says she would love to face Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, and of course, points to the fucking sign. But lo and behold, who starts walking from the audience appropriately right under the WrestleMania sign? Becky Lynch, the man. She's walking down, no music. It's a surprise. Charlotte's like, wait a second. She's suspended. Security, do something. And then she starts throwing shade at Becky. She says, it's one thing to steal my dad's catchphrase. It's another to steal Roman Reigns' entrance. Wow. What? And Becky gets over the ramp, and then she grabs a microphone, and security comes around, but they're like, they're terrible security. Didn't they get any kind of memo? You know, it's like, hey, someone jumps the barricade. You gotta take that person down, and don't let them grab a microphone. Anyway, whoever they were paying for security tonight was terrible, and we were chatting about this on Twitter as well. It's like, then when the officials arrived, they actually started separating Becky, you know, and they don't mind getting involved and getting between. It's like, why are you paying security if you have the refs who do the security details job? Jeez. Blaine says the security was afraid of the man. That's probably, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So basically, Becky and Charlotte start talking over each other. You know, they're being kind of shitty at each other. And I'm digging this a lot. And then Triple H's music hits. He comes to the ring, and he confronts Becky, says, look, you're suspended. You're not supposed to be here. And it's really simple. All you have to do is go see the doctor. You go see the doctor. You get cleared. You can come back and wrestle. In the meantime, Beckworth Lynch, you are suspended. And in the meantime, Charlotte is like, she's in the background and she's being a complete and total C word. She's pantomiming. She's being mouthy. And Triple H turns around and is like, yo, Flair, this is not about you. You take your shit and take that backstage. Hit the bricks. And Charlotte's like, okay. She doesn't care for it much, but she complies. She's like, all right. So basically Triple H sort of reiterates his point. Becky reiterates her point, makes it very clear for those of you who weren't paying attention last night on Raw. She says it very, very clearly here. You know, she says, I don't trust you. I don't trust anyone in this situation. And Triple H says, you don't have to trust it. It is what it is. This is what you have to do. So basically, he tells her to, look, again, get yourself checked out, get yourself cleared medically, or in the meantime, go home. So he starts to walk out. She says, well, hey, by the way, how's Steph? Because, you know, she clobbered Stephanie McMahon, right? Last night on the Raw program. And did you make sure, Hunter, that she was medically clear? You know, after I punched her in the face, and Triple H comes back in. And I like this. See, this all makes sense. And it goes above. I'll say my analysis for just a second. I'll go through here a bit. You know, he says, you know, I haven't seen it until now, Becky. This is Triple H talking. I've bought into this whole I'm the man crap. But you're not the man at all. It's a lie. You're just a self-destructor. You're afraid of failure. And I thought this was kind of harsh. I didn't know how much this is calling back into Becky Lynch's past because she has had struggles with addictions. You know, she wasn't on a very clean and clear path. You know, when she started wrestling, she got rid of everything. She got rid of her demons. But, you know, it was a struggle. And this has been documented, right? You know, so he says, you know, basically, I know what you're doing. You're looking for an excuse to get out of this. He accuses her of looking for excuses. You wanted an excuse to be, so you came to attack people on Raw and you got punched in the face. So now, you know, you're heading to WrestleMania, but you're afraid. You know, you're looking for excuses to avoid facing Ronda Rousey because you are afraid to face Ronda Rousey. You're not afraid that the doctor will say, no, you're not cleared to wrestle. You're afraid that the doctor will tell you that you are cleared to wrestle. And that Ronda Rousey will expose you as the fraud you are. And she just slaps the taste out of Triple H's mouth, who checks to see if he has all his teeth. And goes, yeah, okay, everything's still there. I thought this was such a good promo, a good segment from top to bottom. And I know a lot of people get really, and I mean, I include myself in this, our threshold to authority tolerance as far as Triple H and McMahon's go is very, very limited, especially when it comes to Stephanie McMahon. But they have done a fantastic job just in 2 days to establish the fact that these authority figures, that usually are slimy scumballs, are just plain spoken and have legitimate concerns for their talent. It's like, look, these are the rules. And we're not trying to bullshit you. You know, you're creating this delusion for yourself. We just want you to get checked out so you can compete. That's it. The conflict that Becky has is that she has been out because of injury before, and that put her in the doghouse, and she has worked her way up to this point, and she does not want technicalities to screw this up. And this is what they're doing absolutely brilliantly, and which will have to inevitably lead to a win at WrestleMania, because right now, positioning her as positioning her position as very precarious, being on very unstable ground, is such a brilliant way to make us doubt, to make us feel for her more. Cripes, they had Charlotte come out and legitimately say, well, you can always put me in the main event, which is something that a lot of people online do not want to see. They don't want a triple threat. They don't want Charlotte inserted into this. They want Becky versus Ronda. That's it. So a lot of folks online, you know, there's this rumor going around. A lot of people are worried about that. If they come and they if they backhandedly address these rumors, then they're playing the room. This is what they're doing. And it's brilliant. They're doing a fantastic job. And the way Triple H reacted, how he went after Becky when she started talking about Stephanie, is logical. He's, you know, it's his wife. You're going to stick up for your wife, just as Stephanie would stick up for Hunter in the same kind of situation. Everything was natural, felt normal, didn't feel out of place, outlandish. It was such a good segment. This was really, really good. Was a hell of a way to start the show. Let's see here. Just going to take a look at the chat here. CM Phil says WWE security is so bad because the hardest members of the staff are patrolling the stands. You know, the one who got Enzo the fuck out of here. Yeah, what's her name? I think is her name Linda from security? I don't remember her name exactly, but I know exactly who you're speaking of. Joe Anthony, who's here, he says, please, Warren, clarify what the C word is. There's some good guesses in the chat. Why don't we leave it as that? But Joe Anthony then follows up and says Charlotte was definitely acting like Creed. Now that I think of it, and Kristen Ashley says so true. Joe Anthony over the top, dark clothes and makeup, dramatic, morose. Export says when talking about Triple H, he says when he was with Seth, he was a face, but when he's with Becky, he's a heel. Jason was very happy that his man Triple H showed up tonight, and yeah, there we go. J King says I still think the injury angle is completely unnecessary. Listen, they've been working it really, really well up to this point. I think that's telling a compelling story. I think over the past 2 nights, they worked it fantastically. The one thing that they're not doing as well is handling Ronda Rousey. I mean, they have to just go all in on the heel thing now. This is what they have to do, because they're not going to get her more over than Becky. The only way, if imagine the reaction, if Becky, not Becky, but if Ronda starts acting like a heel, people are going to love to hate her. It's going to be really, really simple. You're going to have huge baby face, huge heel. They just have to go all in on it. And especially with the reactions that Ronda's been getting, and that she's been calling out the audience. She called out the audience last night on Raw, saying, "Oh, you sitting down booing me." It's like, okay, that's it. This is how she's feeling for real. Let's use this. Let's just make it happen. Never mind the babyface thing. Let the baddest woman on the planet be the baddest woman on the planet. First match of the evening was the Good Brothers, the Club, Galas and Anderson versus Schinsky, Nakamura, and Rusev. The match starts quickly with Gallows going right after Shinsuke, but Anderson gets tagged in pretty quickly as well. Shinsuke kicks Anderson, and Rusev tags himself in. Shin didn't care, though, for Rusev tagging himself in, which allows Anderson to roll Rusev up, but Shinsuke breaks up the pin. So a little tension to start off with. Oh, will these two hot-headed heels be able to coexist with each other? Anderson does get a somersault sent on both guys on the outside, which was cool. Back from commercial, there are two sweet whoop whoop chants while Anderson fights out of a headlock. Anderson hits a European uppercut on Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke avoids a boot, but gets Anderson into a reverse exploder, which was cool. Anderson avoids the Kinshasa with a spine buster, and that allows Galas to get the Gallows. Galas is another. That's on another brand, Warren. That allows Gallows to get the hot tag. Big boot to Rusev, and he also gets avalanches. A Baldo bomb follows. Match comes to an end when Nakamura saves Rusev from a magic killer. He hits a Kinshasa on Gallows, and Anderson eats a Machka kick for his troubles. He gets covered, and the heels win. I have to tell you, as far as these two talents here go, Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev, they could be doing a lot worse. And they're creating an interesting dynamic, basically tagging out of necessity. I like this. Did you guys hear that Rusev's interview that he gave earlier this week? I think it was on Lillian Garcia's show. And he was basically bitching about how WWE has been handling him. How bummed he was when they got rid of Rusev Day. And the U.S. title situation as well, just recently, it's an interesting world in which we live now, where WWE isn't the only option for wrestlers. You can start hearing about you start to realize that more talent currently employed actually do have very strong opinions as to how they're being handled, and they're not necessarily satisfied with what's going on. So interesting. And if you haven't listened to the interview, please do. Lana's on there as well. But you can tell Rusev is he's a little bummed right now, and that'd be anyway. Rusev is another guy who would be fine regardless where he goes. He'll be absolutely fine. Yeah. All right. Next, we have a couple of promos backstage. Mustafa Ali, who cuts a promo, basically establishing himself as a babyface, underdog babyface. The Usos cut a very good fire promo, like we're used to them announcing, to them giving out, I should say. Finish your sentences, Warren. And they say that they are going to be guests on not just Miz TV. They're going to be on McMiz TV next week to build up their match for the SmackDown tag titles at Elimination Chamber. Randy Orton is next against Mustafa Ali. Ali gets the jobber entrance. He's already in the ring, whereas Randy Orton gets his full entrance. Thank goodness they had Mustafa just hang around in the ring, not give him his entrance so that we could get all of Randy Orton's entrance. That was very important. This was a good match. I thought this was a lot of fun. Orton shoves Ali into a corner, goes for a clean break, but Ali sees an opening and takes it, and he chops Randy Orton. He kicks Orton, but gets lariated down for his business. Orton suplexes Ali on the top rope, over the top rope. Well, like on the top rope, not like over. He rope hangs him. And Ali tumbles to the outside. Orton then slams Ali on the commentator's table, rolls him back into the ring covers, but only gets 2. He avoids Ali avoids a charge, but instead eats one of Randy Orton's patented spinning suplexes. He gets covered, but Ali kicks out at 2. Top rope shenanigans ensue, and it finishes with Randy Orton hitting a superplex on Mustafa Ali, covers him, but only gets 2 again. Back from commercial, Orton is beating Ali down, and he covers him again. Only gets 2. Finally, Ali hits a dropkick on Orton, who rolls out of the ring, but Ali goes after him. It's a bad idea, because Orton slams him face first on the desk. He tries to slam Ali on the desk once again, but Ali rolls out of it, lands on his feet, drop kicks Orton over the commentary table, and then follows up with a dive right over the desk and into the barricade. That was really nice. We go back into the ring. Ali gets some super kicks in. Orton traps Ali and gets goes for the draping DDT, but Ali kicks him on the side of the head, hits his rolling bulldog, covers, but only gets 2. Ali hits a European uppercut, goes up top, fakes a jump. This, I really thought, this was my spot of the night. This was like the premier moment of in-ring psychology that I saw this entire evening. Ali's on the top rope, fakes a jump, like literally goes for a jump because he expects Randy Orton to hit him with an RKO, which Orton does. Like he sets him, like he spins around to do it. But nope, he wasn't jumping. It was a fake. Instead, Ali jumps off, hits a tornado DDT, covers your boy Randy for 2.9. Ali, though, he goes back up top for the 054, and instead, Randy Orton yanks him off into an RKO, and of course, that means it's the end of the match. He covers and wins. And yet, his celebration is cut very short because Samoan Joseph arrives out of nowhere and gets Orton into a Kaquina Klitsch. And then he kicks Mustafa Ali to the head. Kicks him to the outside. And Samoa Joe stands aloft his fallen victims. This was a fun match. I really liked this. I thought it was a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was the most solid match of the evening. Had the most drama. I really think Mustafa Ali has the capacity to work a good match with just about everyone. I think Randy looked motivated as well. It was a fresh match too. It's not something that it's not something we've seen it's not something we have seen before, and that's always good too. What's up, chat? What are we talking about? CM Phil says Usos better not job to Shane and Miz. Well, John Baez, who joined us in the chat, says Ali was amazing. Jay King says, loss or not, Ali looked like a superstar. Good match. I agree. Daniel Price says they're going back to Saudi Arabia in May, so don't be surprised if Mustafa Ali is your WWE champion when Mania ends. What? I don't understand. Because he's of Muslim descent. He's American, right? He was born in the United States. I'm just saying. CM Phil says Ali got a massive eye jammy tonight. Yeah, it did. He did get a black eye, and Sean Ross Sapp was reporting that Ali is working with a tailbone injury as well. He's got to be careful, man. We don't want him disappearing on us at the onset of this push here. JPQ's here. John. You're late, John. Blaine is my new favorite mod now. 054 is my favorite name for a move. Okay. You're okay in my book now. That was a lot of fun. And J King says, probably Orton's best match since his Hell in a Cell with Hardy. I would even say that the Hell in a Cell match wasn't even that good. It was that one match that they had in the lead up on a SmackDown. You know, the one where Jeff Hardy had jumped off the road cases onto. That was a fun match, and Orton worked really hard there. There we go. So there we go. At the end of the match, Daniel Bryan comes out. His music starts, and Samoa Joe sort of sees him at the top of the ramp, and he sort of licks his lips. He's like, all right, do I get to beat someone else up? He's like, oh, look at this guy here. He's kind of, he's sort of looking at him. He's like, well, he's kind of cute, and I wonder if does he have freckles? I can't tell from all the way over here. I like me some freckles. I don't know what I'm talking about. But basically, he goes up the ramp, probably expecting, to beat the tar out of Daniel Bryan. But, big ol' Eric Rowan Comes out. Eric Rowan again tonight, folks. Eric Rowan is becoming very, very endearing to me since coming back. Last week he had an Ailstorm t-shirt on. This week he had an Amon Amarth t-shirt on. So last week he had like Drunken Beer Pirate Rock t-shirt on. This week it's Viking Rock. I'm okay with this guy. I like him. So basically the fact that Eric Rowan was there, well, Joe sort of sidestepped, didn't go for it. So Daniel Bryan cuts another fantastic promo, and he's not trying to. This is something that I really liked here. He's from Washington. They're in Portland, Washington State, and he himself calls himself Washington's favorite son, or at least that's what the announce table called him. I think he decided, or at least creative decided, no sense in fighting the reactions that you're going to get here naturally. Let's just go right ahead. And let's just go right ahead and do it, right? So he basically says, finally, I get to talk to people who understand what I'm trying to do here. You see, the people of Washington State are intelligent people. You realize we need change, and that, everyone is behind them. But they would have been anyway. And what's good about this promo is that they didn't insult anyone's intelligence. They didn't try to shove the fact that, Daniel Bryan was, that Daniel Bryan is absolutely a heel. He's like, no, this is where I'm from. I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to be from here. And, everyone here understands me. It's like the reverse you people promo. He says that he created his new belt as a symbol for people to rally behind. The old WWE title was a symbol of excellence and excess. This title is a symbol for excellence as well, but also for change. And he lets Eric Rowan talk, who says everyone who's read about the life of Galileo knows that great thinkers are considered dangerous and people fear them. Wow. All right. They fear this man, and as long as he is WWE champion, they will try to silence him. And Eric Rowan, for the better part of his WWE career, when he was in the Wyatts, in the Bludgeon Brothers, he wasn't meant to come across as a smart guy. Or, you know, he was just like, stand there, look scary. And even that small moment in time, there was a small period where they tried a singles run for him, where he was basically just like still Wyatt family Rowan, you know, but that small period where they had him there, you know, even there, you know, they had him talk, but he was still very creepy and brutish. I like this. He's very endearing, and he's got great taste in music. So I'm entirely for the new Eric Rowan. Why shouldn't that be a thing? You have the new Daniel Bryan, but you also have the new Eric Rowan. Anyway, funny moment here is that you know, while everyone was while Eric Rowan was going through his promo, he was being wadded by the audience, and at the end of his promo, Daniel Bryan says, "How dare you wat my good friend Rowan?" I thought that was really cool. That was really, really cool. Daniel Bryan says, "I serve a greater power than corporate greed. I am the planet's champion. The suits back there don't like it. They never wanted me to be their champion. That's why I'm defending my title in the Elimination Chamber." And then they show off some titles to remind, not some titles, but some video package to remind us how terrifying the Elimination Chamber is. And Bryan wraps up his promo saying that you need me as WWE champion. The ignorant masses need me. And most importantly, you need the new Daniel Bryan as WWE champion. I thought this was fantastic again. Another great promo by Bryan. And I don't perceive him as a heel. That, you know, that's just, what can you do? I like Daniel Bryan like this. And, you know, just the fact that they sort of embraced the idea that tonight you're going to get cheered, so we might as well just roll with it. Well, I think there's a level of self-awareness here as well. I liked it. John says, John in the chat says, kind of like Brett in Canada. And that's kind of it. I mean, if they start going into areas that are naturally more liberal, I don't want not to get politics into this, but if they start going into areas like Portland, which are, let's say, not conventionally conservative areas, well, the message that Daniel Bryan is going to convey is going to resonate a lot more than going into areas where, you know, it's, you know, talking about recycling and composting and comes across as hippie shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think they might have something really, really interesting on their hands here. Jason Campbell says, I like Eric Rowan, but Daniel Bryan is holding him back. It's interesting. There we go. Joe Anthony says, the new Eric Rowan reminds me of when Luke Gallows stopped being Festus after he and kayfabe stopped using drugs. That's right. CM Phil says, okay, when Harper comes back, the whole stable will be champions. Man, I still don't know why they're sitting on Luke Harper. Daniel Price is predicting that Rowan's going to be there at the pay-per-view as Bryan's out to rip a panel off the chamber and save him. And he's expecting Harper to join there as well. And Hitman says he's using his eco-friendly persona to blind you from his cheating ways. Yes, he is. Yes, that I agree. I agree. Absolutely agree. We have Jeff Hardy cutting a promo about, how insulted he is that Daniel Bryan has disrespected the WWE title. And then AJ Styles arrives and he's mad. And everyone's mad because they're all fighting in a match next week on pay-per-view against each other. So everyone's mad. Next, we have a triple threat, a 3-corner, a 6-women tag match. Not a 6-women. No, it's 3 tag teams, but there are 6 women, but it's not a 6-women tag match because that would mean 3 on thing. Naomi and Carmella, the last team to announce their presence in the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, versus the Iconics, versus Mandy and Sonya. Fire and Desire is what they're trying to push on us. I'd be more like the team, the name of the team that I would like to give for Mandy and Sonya, instead of calling them Fire and Desire, I would prefer to call them Let's Give Sonya Deville a Singles Push. That's what I'd like them to be called. This was an okay match, kind of short, but it was fine. Nothing extremely egregious, and I found that Naomi looked motivated. I thought her offense looked good. She had a good showcase towards the end. But I mean, you know you're not in for something fantastic when 2 moves in. Sonya kicking Carmella and Naomi with a sliding clothesline on Peyton Royce, and then we're already going to a commercial. You're not in for something that's going to blow your mind here. Back from commercial, we have Peyton Royce bulldogging Carmella right onto Billie Kay's knee. That looked cool. Mandy gets an abdominal stretch on Carmella, and Naomi finally gets a hot tag in. She's up against Sonya Deville here. Because Mandy is avoiding, of course, to face Naomi. Sonya gets kicked in the face, eats a scorpion kick and a springboard spinning kick as well. Naomi finally gets her hands on Mandy, and she grounds and pounds her here, but it wasn't very convincing. I think she was throwing forearms, but they looked a little goofy. Wasn't the most convincing ground and pound I had seen. And folks popped for that. And it's kind of too bad that they didn't play up the Naomi's elimination from the Royal Rumble a little more. And they were still referencing the breakup, or the attempted breakup by Mandy, because I really feel that Mandy's backhanded elimination of Naomi at the Royal Rumble was a much better catalyst to continue this feud on than referring back to the old breakup thing. Anyway, the match comes to an end when Naomi takes out Peyton Royce, and that allows Mandy to hoist Naomi up into the double underhook facebuster for the win. So, Fire and Desire win the match for tonight. Let's see what you think about this one. What do you think about this one, chat? JPQ agrees with me, and that's why he's my boy. He's my man. Let's give Sonya Deville a singles push is spot on. CM Phil says they really want Mandy to be a big deal. It's evident. Yep, that's they're giving it all they got. Hitman is hoping for Sonya versus Asuka at Fastlane. That would be really cool. I think didn't we see a bit of Sonya Deville and Asuka couple during last fall? I think they had a throwaway match on SmackDown, and you could tell they just wanted to go at it, but it wasn't time yet. And that was really cool. Kristen says this was the laziest women's match announcement with the new team for the Elimination Chamber match. Yeah, because the announcement was kind of made on social media and it was very, very, very average. That was kind of too bad. It was kind of, but I mean, just the whole booking of the thing, like on Raw, the women are competing, and on SmackDown, you basically hey, I want in. I'm on a spot. We get a promo from Andrade Cien Almas. I will still continue to use his full name here. Hey, by the way, speaking of full names, did you hear that? Did you see, actually, that Heavy Machinery have lost their last names? They are now strictly Tucker and Otis. They're not Tucker Knight or Otis Dozovich anymore. It's just Tucker and Otis. It took them all about 3 weeks? 3 weeks and they're already down to single name status. So basically, Andrade cuts a promo with Zelina Vega, basically saying, that they didn't want to have to stomp Rey Mysterio last week, but they had to. He still has respect for him, but he had to beat him up. And then we get a promo package for Asuka because they can't be bothered to book her on a match tonight, or even be in the ring, and yet they have to rebuild her, remind us why Asuka was fantastic in the first place, because they spent the last 8 to 9 months completely destroying her killer mystique. So it's like, hey, by the way, don't you remember, guys? Let's not forget Asuka. Who's ready for her, right? Who's ready for Asuka? They put her in matches where James Ellsworth is hanging from a goddamn cage. Who's ready for Asuka? Are we already at the main event? This is the main event, right? Daniel Bryan versus Jeff Hardy is our main event this evening. Bryan is in control early on with a knee to your boy Jeff. European uppercut follows, some kicks, followed by Bryan in the corner. He goes for a running corner kick, and it's met by a Jeff Hardy sling blade. Hardy splashes him, covers the WWE champ, but only for 2. Bryan then hits the corner kicks. He hits 3 of them, to be precise. He drags Hardy out of the corner, locks his legs, and flips him over into a surfboard. Jeff fights back though. He hits a drop kick that sends Bryan to the outside. Jeff runs to jump off the steps and perhaps perform a daredevil move of maximum excitement. However, Eric Rowan just stands in front of Daniel Bryan. That stunts Jeff's momentum, and that distraction allows Bryan to trip Hardy, who falls hard, like shoulder first, on the steel steps. We're back from commercial, and Daniel Bryan is stomping Hardy down, and he starts bending his left arm, some joint manipulation. Hardy then battles back, hits his signature offense, the inverted atomic drop, double legs to the midsection, drop kick, covers, but it's not enough to put Bryan away. They trade some strikes in the middle of the ring. Bryan avoids the twist of fate and gets dumped to the outside. So Hardy gets on the apron, runs off, and dives onto Daniel Bryan. He tosses the champ back into the ring, goes up top for the swanton. Because we know he was going for the swanton because he took his sweater off. But Daniel Bryan rolls out of the way. We get some yes kicks that follow. The last final yes kick is avoided and converted into a twist of fate. Hardy then goes up top once again, hits the swanton on Daniel Bryan, covers, but Rowan drags him out of the ring. And that, boom, right there, forces the disqualification. So your winner is Jeff Hardy. However, the heels are not finished with Jeff Hardy. Rowan tosses Hardy into the stairs and then gets back into the ring. Daniel Bryan hits the label lock, formerly known as the yes lock. But then out of nowhere, Joe comes back and he takes Rowan out and gets Bryan into a... Was it the coquina clutch? Looked more like a sleeper. Then Orton runs in. They start brawling. Ali runs in and drop kicks both Orton and Joe. Joe rolls to the outside and Ali dives on him. He gets back into the ring and goes to dive on Rowan, who blocks him and skull slams Ali onto the commentary table. Your boy Mustafa, man, not taking it easy tonight. Not doing good with his body. Not doing good with his body tonight. Then AJ Styles runs in, full music. He avoids an RKO, takes out Orton, knees Joe, phenomenal forearm on Hardy, And Bryan, well, he's already gone. He's already up the ramp, away from ringside. And that's how it came to a close, tonight's edition of SmackDown. Well, not quite. Daniel Bryan cut a promo at Gorilla. And they sort of stretched it. I think the show may have run a little short. Like, there was a good 60 to 75 seconds of stuff happening where you kind of felt, I think they were ready to wrap this up. But that's okay. It's a live show. And Daniel Bryan, pretty sure that promo at the end was improvised. It felt that way. Let's see here. Just want to see what y'all are chatting about here. Hitman says, we're the only women who didn't have a chance to qualify, Lacey and Lana. Well, Lana's running an injury. And yeah, Lacey Evans, this is weird, because Lacey Evans had a really good showing at Royal Rumble, and they should have capitalized on that momentum. I don't care what show they should have put her on, but she had a really, really good show at the Royal Rumble. Standing toe-to-toe with Charlotte, so on and so forth. That'd be that's something that they should have done. Blaine says Kyrie versus Asuka would be a banger. Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah! That would be fantastic. Yeah, and Hitman says that the ending of the show tonight felt like the go home episode, and that was kind of my feeling the whole way through. And I even posted this on Twitter, asking folks for their opinion. It's like, didn't tonight kind of feel? Didn't it feel just kind of there? Like outside the beginning, it's like everything was like. But as I was talking about it, I got excited. Maybe I was just a little askew. Maybe there was something distracting me tonight that in which I couldn't keep my entire focus on the matches. But no, talking about it, remember, going through my notes, and this was an okay. It was an okay episode of SmackDown, but it did feel like a go-home show overall, and especially with that ending. Yeah, exactly. Like Blaine says, middle of the road. CM Phil agrees. And yeah, Daniel, exactly. They were teasing Lacey and Charlotte Hart. It's really strange that they didn't push Lacey. Didn't try to capitalize off of that. Well, we'll see. I mean, look at what they're doing with EC3. Okay, well, hey, let's just wrap it up. So folks, hey, thank you all so much for joining this evening. Don't forget, tomorrow evening on FightfulSelect.com, 205 Live, NXT recap show. It happens there. Don't forget as well, or this weekend, Fightful.com, the Division podcast is going to make its grand return after 2 weeks. I will be joining Kristen Ashley for her show. We'll be joining Kristen Ashley again for her show. We'll be joined by Anthony Suter of Smart to Death, so that's going to be fantastic. I'll be back next Monday for more recaps on Raw, SmackDown the next day. Prediction show for Elimination Chamber next Thursday. We'll be joined by Kelsey of the Kicking It with Kelsey. Super Kicking It with Kelsey fame. And I'm really glad that she's going to be here. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be another fun week. It's always a fun week with the Warren Hayes Show, even if it's just a day. It's a day that feels like a week, but not one of those weeks that will never end, more like a week that you wish will never end. Thank you all. I'm out of here. Hey, we're done for today. I'll see you next time.